Hey everybody, this is TJR. I just came across an article from Guitar World by Richard Beinstock where the headline claims that Beck used a $60 particle board guitar to record most of his albums. This headline brings up a couple of interesting observations of my own regarding expensive guitars versus cheap guitars. And I want to discuss that here. But first, let me just read this article to you. Beck has played a variety of guitars over the years, including Schecter, Fender, and Harmony Electrics. And he has even had his own impressively spec'd limited edition Martin signature model. But as he recently told the New York Times, there is one very humble electric guitar that is central to his music, a Silvertone 1448. It's a cheap guitar from the Sears catalog, basically made out of particle board, he said. It's not considered remotely in the pantheon of great instruments. It's sort of looked down upon by real musicians. I think I bought it for about $60. Beck continued, he has dozens of incredible classic guitars, but he said, I keep going back to this one that's supposedly not so good. It barely stays in tune, but it just has this sort of rickety sound. Beautiful, hellacious, but also a little broken and tender. I've recorded so many of my albums with it. I've been playing it my entire career. The author of the article then states, just goes to show you don't need to spend much cash to get a great guitar. This is the type of article that I know people will always be asking me, is this true? And my answer is kind of, well, yes, but no. Over the years, people have always asked me, what's the difference between an expensive guitar and a cheap guitar? And I did make a video about this, but basically, a well-made guitar and thus an expensive guitar won't fall apart after 2 years of continuous use. And this is something that I have actually seen with my own eyes. A well-made guitar, on the other hand, is more durable and, if properly maintained, will continue to work beautifully for the rest of your life and maybe even beyond it. Now, it's true that even the best made guitars need maintenance, but a well-made guitar will hold that maintenance a lot longer than a cheaply made one, and it will stay in tune a whole lot better and a whole lot longer. Well-made, thus more expensive guitars will have better electronics and better wiring, and generally will just sound better. So yeah, it's mostly true. You get what you pay for. Most of the time, you do need to spend a lot of cash. But here's the trick. Even within the realm of expensive, well-made guitars, not every brand and model clicks with every single guitarist equally. I have tried out many great guitars, and while I won't call any of them bad, I will say that some of them just worked better for me for one reason or another. It's hard to explain. It's just a kind of synergy. A guitar that clicks with me is oftentimes just that much easier for me to play. It doesn't fight me as much, and I can express more on it, and it allows me to push my limits just a little bit more. I just get more juice out of it. Once again, the others are still good, but these just work better for me. And I want to add, this experience is subjective from player to player. A guitar that didn't click as well for you might click a whole lot better for me, and vice versa. And the same can sometimes hold true with a cheap guitar. Sometimes, if it's the right player. Because sometimes the right guitar player will sometimes find just the right cheap guitar. And because of this unique synergy between player and instrument, that musician will find that they can squeeze something cool and or beautiful out of it that they just can't with any other guitar. Back in the day, whenever I read an article about Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page would always be identified with the Les Paul. Music writers at the time would oftentimes gloss over the fact that Jimmy Page also played a Dan electric guitar, a guitar that was once looked down upon as a piece of pawn shop crap. Now, I don't know Jimmy Page personally, but I would venture to guess the reason he used that Danelectro, that cheap piece of pawn shop crap, was because he could squeeze something different out of it that he couldn't with his other guitars. Sometimes the right musician and just the right cheap guitar click and something cool happens. Now, personally, I've never had this experience with a cheaply made guitar. The closest I have come to is a cheap Charvel that I bought in the recycler for under $200 that I still own. Now, I won't record with this guitar. I don't use it live because my more expensive guitars just simply sound better. But this guitar has one of the easiest nicks that I've ever played. And for that reason, I noodle with it at home all the time, and I create a lot of stuff with it. I want to close by saying that Beck stated that his $60 guitar can barely stay in tune, and I'm willing to bet that outdoor weather just really messes up its intonation. And if he uses it live, it's probably a pain to keep playable. But he can get something out of this guitar that he can't with his others. So he puts up with its bad virtues so that he can enjoy its good virtues. Of course, I'm sure he's also enjoying and making very good use of his high-end guitars too. Do any of you guitar players out there share a similar experience? Please let us all know in the comments. I can't wait to read your stories. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please remember to click like, click subscribe, and click the notification icon so you can know when I release new videos. I want to thank my patron supporters who are helping make videos like this possible. If you'd like to be a patron supporter, please follow the link here and donate whatever you can. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support, and I will be talking with you all again soon. Take care.